Alright, so in this video, I'm going to walk through the any% run using only Mario. Mario's an interesting character because he doesn't really have any super special abilities. He jumps a little higher than Toad and Princess, picks things up a little faster than Luigi and Princess, and doesn't lose speed when carrying heavy objects. But for the most part, there's not a ton of really exciting tech in the Mario run compared to the other three. But that said, there are some spots that can be challenging. So I'm going to walk through each level, show you how I do them, as well as a couple safer options in a few places. But yeah, let's get into it. So in 1-1, just like with the other characters, the only thing we need to do here on this first screen is get in the door. Save state. Since Mario doesn't run faster with an enemy, you can just platform your way through however you see fit. The potion clip from the All-Stars version does work, but it takes you to the beginning of the level instead of further ahead. So there's a 1-up here that I'd recommend grabbing when you're first learning a new category. You can start to skip that as you get a little more comfortable with it. Alright, so drop a new save state. So Mario can do really big double jumps, and there are a few places you can do this from. You know, with Toad, it's easiest to get an enemy up on this log so you don't have to jump as high, but Mario jumps really high, more than halfway of the distance up to that platform without having to try too hard. So it's pretty easy to double jump up to the top. The earliest place you can do it is off of this Shy Guy, and that Shy Guy up top will then be moving to the right, and you can get a little speed boost off of it. You do have to do a fairly large double jump, so that's you know, pressing and holding jump for the first jump, and then a quick release and regrab near the top of your jump to have enough height to get onto that Shy Guy. The spot a lot of people go for it is right here, and you can either do a little turn back like that to get up here. If you don't do any turn backs, you'll land like right here and then immediately have to jump again. And then as a last resort, that tweeter, the bouncing bird down there, is another option. You can either double jump off of it, which is tricky with it moving up and down, or you can just charge a super jump and jump up when it's at the top of its bounce. In the cave here, the safe option is to use the bombs and break through the wall. But Mario can do a clip similar to the Toad clip. Between his bigger jumps and slightly slower pickup speed, though, the same setup that you would typically see people use with Toad is quite a bit more difficult. So with Mario, what you generally would do is take damage from the Shy Guy, and then jump and press run immediately after. So not at the same time. So I kind of hit the controller in like a rolling motion to jump then grab. So jump then grab. If you do them at the same time, you'll end up picking up one of the bombs in the ground, and that's no good. So once you have the Shy Guy, you're going to be blinking in your iframes. You want to run all the way into the left wall without a jump. Turn around and throw the Shy Guy hard into the right wall, and that'll make it fall a little more slowly, and that'll give you time to set up the clip. When you reach the bottom of the ladder and the Shy Guy is getting close to you, just press and hold up. And the game forces you to change directions when you get hit by an enemy when you're on a ladder like that. And so doing that at the bottom, when you're trying to go up and the game forces you then to go down, will kind of push you through the floor, and you'll end up in the next area. Let's see if I can do this here. There we go. And so the game thinks you're on a vine there for a second. So here I'm just holding up. You can do a vine jump over here, or you can just kind of hold jump and land over on this step. Jump over, and then it's onto the Birdo fight. So Mario can hit the earliest egg cycle. Actually, all 4 characters can. So if Mario ends up being a comfortable choice for you in this category, there's no reason not to use Mario in any % as well. Other than the third hit takes a little longer to pick up the final egg and then pick up the orb. That's really the only difference versus using Toad. But yeah, he can hit the earliest egg cycle pretty comfortably. If you miss an egg cycle or two, it's not that big of a deal. You know, even if you grab the 1-up, you can still hit the early egg cycle just barely. But yeah, it's kind of up to you how you want to approach this level, and yeah, and that's about it. In 1-2, much like Toad and Princess, you kind of need the carpet to get across to the other side. And there's a glitch where if you take the enemy from the first carpet, throw it off screen, take the carpet over, you want yourself to be pretty much at least this far left, but usually no harm in going a little further left. That'll spawn another carpet coming in from the right. If you then remove the enemy from that carpet and get back on the first carpet, you get a pretty substantial speed boost. So that's what we're going to be doing with Mario. The typical strat with Toad would be to come up here, charge a super jump, get on top of it. That's a little, you can do that with Mario, but you're going to lose an egg cycle, which isn't the end of the world. It would be very safe to do it that way. But there are a couple different options. You can do the damage boost strat like I show in the Princess Only tutorial, but there's another way you can do it with Mario too, that I find to be possibly even a little easier than the damage boost. And so we're going to do like a little turn back jump right at the start to get on top of the Pidgeot from the carpet. If this is uncomfortable, you can do the damage boost. If that's also uncomfortable, you can just do it the safe way. You know, either of these options will work just fine. So there, it's like a little turn back jump. It's kind of hard to explain what exactly is going on. You want to ditch it right away, come back to the left. Oh geez. Grab it right away, throw it away, come back to the left, get a new one, throw, and you're on your way. And then we should have plenty of time to get to this egg here. It's just too slow to do, just ever so slightly too slow to do it the safe way, but... And that's kind of a faster option for doing the third hit. Only do that if it's comfortable for you. It only saves like a 10th or 2 versus just jumping on the egg as it comes out. But otherwise, that's it for 1-2. Alright, 1-3, like with the other characters, is a pretty uneventful level. So we're just platforming through the level however you see fit. Then we're going to grab this potion here, drop save state. Coming over here, just placing it there, and then warping to World 4 is the real safe way. You can also throw it onto that vase. Save a tiny bit of time, but again, there's not a ton going on in this level. Just get through, make sure you don't zone out and fall into a pit, and you're on to World 4. So you start on ice in 4-1 and you accelerate super slowly when you're running on ice. So you want to jump anytime you're stationary on ice to get going. That also applies should you take damage while you're on ice. A little jump will get you going. So as soon as Mario is on screen, you're going to jump and then make your way through the level, avoiding these flurries. And then a full jump from the very end here lets us get up here pretty quickly to the rocket. There is a glitch called Zombie Rocket where once you grab the rocket, if you pause on the first controller, press A, B, and up on the second controller, and then unpause on the first controller, if you do it really quickly, it'll save time because the rocket will then take off very quickly, as opposed to kind of rumbling in place and then heading out. It does drain your life meter down to 0, so only do that if you're comfortable with doing this next part without taking damage. Anyway, let's drop a save state here. So you just can jump through however you want here. Here you can just run off and jump over. On these steps, I like to wait at the bottom and then kind of do an arcing jump over there. Let's show that at full speed here. So drop down, full jump. There we go. There's a little guy at the bottom here that you want to do a little jump over and just make your way through. Some turnbacks here and there can make it pretty easy. It's when you're first learning this game, this is one of the scarier screens to get used to, but once you're comfortable with it, it ends up being fairly easy once you kind of understand where you can do turnbacks to be safe. But yeah, Mario jumps pretty high, so he can get over quite a bit of the danger pretty easily. And otherwise, that's 4-1. So in 4-2, you start on over rock like this, so you get your normal acceleration again. You can charge a super jump if you want some extra jump height going up onto the vine. If you do, I would generally start charging it at the seam between the 3rd and 4th blocks. But if you're going to go for a vine jump, with Mario's extra height, it's pretty easy to jump too high and end up on top of the screen on the right side. So if you're comfortable with vine jumps, which I apparently am not, I'd recommend probably skipping the super jump and doing a normal jump onto the vine, just so that you don't end up losing a whole bunch of time getting on top of the screen and then realizing you're on top of the screen and having to recover. But yeah, on this next screen, however you want to get through, you can slide for quite a while on ice before you lose speed, so however is comfortable getting through these Bezos sections is quite alright. We're going to go in here and we're on to the whales. I play this nearly identical to the way I do with Toad, but with Mario there's one spot that's a little trickier because of the bigger jump. But however you want to get through here is fine. That's probably a needlessly risky way, but that's kind of how I'm comfortable doing that first part. So grab the potion, and a full jump from this ice block is pretty safe. Over to here. I like to try and land near the front of this whale, and then jump onto the tail. And then if you immediately do another big jump, it's safe. And then another big jump. And then on this whale, with Toad, this is one difference versus Toad. With Toad, I usually try and get onto the tail and then jump over to the vase. With Mario, if you can stand pretty far out on this whale here. A jump from the rounded section gets you over here pretty easily. That tends to be how I do it, but however's going to be comfortable with you and safe for you. Alive is fastest, I like to tell people. Yeah, so just find a way that's going to work for you, and I just went through the door instead of warping, so we're going to do this again. Doing this again here. And that's that. 6-1 is, like with Toad, a bit of a doozy with Mario. Mario's jump height does make a couple spots a little easier, and you're also moving slower than Toad with an enemy. So it's probably a little easier with Mario, but it's still fairly challenging to do quickly. I'm going to demonstrate one way to get through. Feel free to take this as safe as you need to, though. You can jump up here to here to here. Now this is a tricky part because this quicksand is very fast here. So probably the hardest part of the stage is right here. So you're just going to kind of come up with a plan that works for you. One easy way might be to bop that Cobra with another enemy to be able to get through safer than that. But that quicksand's a doozy and it pulls you in very quickly. So here's what I like to do for it. Gotta jump immediately to not get stuck in it. That's not necessarily the smart thing to do. Plucking the head off of the Pokey or something and using it to kill some enemies is probably a little wiser, but whatever's going to work for you is, again, alive is fastest in this game. Even though there are some deaths that aren't super costly, generally speaking, especially for like a race setting, a methodical means of getting through tends to work nicely. Here, Mario's slow enough that going in between those shots is pretty much just how you normally would do those jumps. So let's despawn these fellas here. I'll show that again. Yeah, it's pretty easy, and then you can just jump up here. I'm going to drop a save state here and show a couple different ways to do this section. From those Cobrats, I generally try to jump to here, to here, to here. And then for this part, I'd recommend bopping the Panzer. You can do a little turn back jump. That saves a little time, and I jumped too early there. So similar to Toad with an enemy, Mario jumps a pretty similar distance. So come on, Pokies, I'm trying to demonstrate something here. You want to jump from the back half of this cactus to be able to make it up and over the tall one. If not, you'll kind of clip into it like I did there, but you can just jump up again if that happens. But again, this is probably what I would recommend, something like that. And then here we can just fall down, jump over, and then down into here. So if you see that Shy Guy move to the right when I came down here and didn't do anything, if I go to the left, it'll go to the left. Anytime a Shy Guy changes levels, it'll start moving in the direction that you're currently in. And so the safest way to do this, generally, is wait until you land, and then start moving in, and then just dig straight down to the key, which is below this leftmost block on the middle platform. If you want to do it a little faster, you can come in without waiting, but then you gotta do a little zigzag to juke it out. See, it went left there instead of, because I was to the left, and I had built a little section to kind of quarantine the Shy Guy. But for the most part, you're gonna dig down. You can grab the key without digging the sand out from around it if you're on the edge of it. Yeah, and then we're just gonna jump out of here. A duck jump and then a race it looks scary, but it's pretty simple. And then we're probably going to fight this kind of how we would with Toad. Jump and throw, jump and throw. The Birdo will shoot once, wait a second, shoot again, wait a second, shoot again, and then wait 2 seconds before starting another volley of 3. If you're unsure where in the pattern you are, you can always play it safe and kind of wait for that longer gap and just jump out of the way of the fireballs otherwise. But if you're still Big Mario, I'd recommend just kind of going for it, making quick hits, and if you take damage, you should be able to get the third hit in before your iframes run out and Birdo shoots again. But that's 6-2, or 1 rather. 6-2 is next. If you've watched the Toad only tutorial, this level is going to seem very familiar. A couple differences. Mario can jump high enough just to get right up here, so that makes it nice. Safest way is to jump over the edge, spawn that albatross, and then just ride it the whole way over. The faster way starts like this, so I'm going to drop a save state here. There are some stars coming up, these horizontal ones. There's one here, and one here, the bright ones. The second one of those, we're going to do a jump out to the left to spawn one of these green Bezo fellas. That's going to go left to right, and we can ride on it to go faster than riding this bird the whole way across. Let's make a save state in closer in case I screw this up. So jump to the left at that second horizontal star. And then don't do what I just did. So we're going to jump out to the left at that second star, and we're just holding left, not run. And to jump, you have to briefly let go of left, and then you also have to re-grab the run button to get back onto the Bezo. So it's so you release right, jump and then re-grab right while also briefly grabbing the run button. So it's release, jump, re-grab, and that re-grab is permanent for right and temporary for run. So release, so we're going release, jump, re-grab, release, jump, re-grab. But yeah, it's something that you'll need to mess around with a few times to get the feel of. So in this Birdo area, duck jump from the very end will get you over here. And then I was waiting around, which you wouldn't be doing in a speed run. And then you can just drop that block on Birdo. Like this. And just make quick work of it. Another difference versus Toad is that Mario can just jump up here. So that makes you don't really have to worry about where the blocks end up quite as much as you would with Toad. But yeah, that's 6-2. So in 6-3, we start in this familiar room here. You can do some ladder jumps. I probably wouldn't recommend doing another ladder jump up top. Again, with Mario's jump height, it's pretty tough to control it to the point that you don't end up on the ceiling. But if you are comfortable doing the 3-framers with the non-Luigi characters, you can go for it. Or just climb the ladder. Mario does not jump high enough to do the potion jump. You can do another ladder jump from down here if you want. But we are going to have to take the sands with Mario. You want to hold the run button for this. And then just mash enough to not sink into the sand. So I typically hold the controller with my thumb across the face buttons. But for this part, I go piano grip. And then, so I hold down the run button with my index finger, and then with my middle finger, I mash. So I kind of... you'll just need to find a method that works for you, but it's like it's like a weird mash where I'm mashing with my whole hand, but I have like different tensions in my fingers so that one of them is mashing and one of them is pressing, if that makes sense. But in this room here, just be careful not to go right like your instincts would be in a Mario game. Drop a save state here. Now this Birdo, you can do kind of casually. Just kind of throw it back and forth. And that works just fine. Mario's fast enough to do that. The other option, oh geez, I put myself in a bad spot here. So the block will bounce on top of you if you duck under it. Oh, and there's a fireball in this save state. Okay. I like getting fireballs in my tutorial save states. So what I did there was as that egg was coming out, I dropped the block, moved forward, and ducked so that it would bounce on me, and then moved out of the way. And that gives you 3 quick hits. But we're going to want to be big for this next fight, so we're going to... Oh, geez. So however you want to do that fight is going to be just fine. So Mario can make this jump again. We're going to make a save state here. Casual strat is build yourself a nice protective wall here. And then if you go 3 high instead of 2, there aren't any fireball patterns that can hit you. And then you can just grab the blocks from down below and chuck them at Triclide. And that way works fine. It'll keep you alive. It's a, especially if you're small and you're uncomfortable dodging the fireballs. That's a good method. If you're still big though, there's a damage boost you can do like with a lot of the other characters. So if you notice, there's a gap after those 2, and then another gap after those 4, and then a gap after those, and then there's a gap after those 5. So this pattern is the same every time. And so we're going to take advantage of that, and during that first opening, after that pair of fireballs, we're going to jump up here and place the block on top. You don't want to be holding run for this, though, counterintuitively, just because Mario jumps high enough that you'll more than likely throw the block into the pit behind Triclide instead of placing it on top of that pedestal. So we're going to come down here, grab this final one, and then do that. We're going to grab this, slide over. If you can, you're going to grab the next block, slide over, and immediately jump up and take damage from the next fireballs. And then once we take damage, we're going to jump up and make the final 2 hits. That's probably the fastest way to do it with Mario. But 6-3 is one of the harder levels in the whole game. So again, alive is fastest. Pick a way that's going to be comfortable and consistent for yourself. So in 7-1, first things first, we want to get up this ladder. It's super easy to jump over the ladder with Mario. So if you jump to climb this one, just make sure it's a very small jump. On this next part, we can just super jump up from the cloud. Safe ways to ride the bird across. You can get a little frisky with some jumps if you want, or you can just ride the bird until it's safe, and then we're going to grab the rocket up to the next part. Save state. So there are a few things you can do with Mario. Mario can make a double jump. If you throw this Shy Guy down from up here, you can set up a double jump over the pillar. It's a pretty tough double jump to pull off between the Sniffit shooting shots and the fact that it's a tall pillar to get over. You also can make the elevator like you would with Toad, but Mario's slower pickup speed makes it, again, fairly tight. So what I unfortunately would recommend is taking the maze. And of course, what timing? I spoke for the wrong amount of time there. Generally, that would not happen in a run. If there's a Shy Guy here, you can bop it. I usually like to bop that Sniffit with that enemy. And then you can do some ladder jumps here if you want. We're going to jump up here. Safe way would be to grab it when it's safe. After that spark goes by in the inside part. There is a faster way to do that. And I'm going to show it here. And this is probably going to cut away for my 700th attempt. But here we go. First try. Okay. Drop a save state here. So you probably will end up over on this side. So you can do ladder jumps here or just climb up. You'll probably end up transitioning the screen a few times if you don't do a jump there. And then you can, from here at least, you can jump onto the cloud and jump up to the ladder if you're not doing ladder jumps. But we're on to the Birdo fight. Grab the block. Just make the hits. Mario's pickup speed is slow enough that you can use the pickup iframes, so you don't have a hitbox during the pickup animation, so you can use that to your advantage and pick up the block as a fireball is about to hit you, or an egg for that matter, but this Birdo only shoots fire. But yeah, on to 7-2. So at the start of 7-2, I'm going to show a fairly ill-advised strat. I'm sure there are safer ways to do this. But basically what we're going to do is a duck jump from the very end here to go under the pillar above me and onto the Sniffit that's shooting from the right side here. You need to hesitate for a split second at the start. Otherwise, this first Sniffit here on this taller pillar, or this higher pillar rather, is going to shoot you from the backside. It's just a very minor delay you need to do. For me, my reflexes are slow enough that I just wait to start holding right until I can see Mario, and that amount of delay for me, is enough. If you have really fast reflexes, you might need to do a little more than that, but just a little tiny delay. Alright, and so we're going to want to do some little duck jumps to get over those first sniffets. These ninjas are on a pattern. The pattern that they jump on is on a timer from the moment you select the character for the level. So you see there are some small... With me near here, they're kind of just jumping, but before I get here, there are some little delays they'll do in between jumps. They'll do some small jumps and some big jumps. That's all predetermined until you, until like I'm standing on them like this. But so if you can do the first screen really consistently, you can find a path through them that you can do every time without much slowdown. Or you can just play it safe and just get through here alive. Alive is fastest. This conveyor belt moves left to right, so you want to take advantage of it as much as possible. A little hesitation to be able to get over this one. And then we're just going to climb up to the next screen. So I just hold left here, and you fall to a false floor. Once you land, you can just jump up, do a little jump, and that spark will never hit you there. Here, let's reload this again. A little hesitation, duck jump. Let's see. I jumped too big there. Don't jump too big. A longer hesitation would make that completely avoidable. I tried to get a little frisky there. But that final spark will never get you if you just go and without stopping. We're going to do a chain jump here. So that's up and right on the D-pad, and then jump within the first 3 frames of letting go. And jump over these first few pits. And we want that key. You can press down to grab the chain if you need to avoid a fireball or an egg or something. But we're going to grab the key, look for an opening, and get in. So there are a couple ways to do this part here. So you can throw the key, but it can end up in a bad spot like that. I don't like the throw strat. What's going on here? Just do a little duck. I've been letting go of down here. Duck and run. You can do a super safe duck and then do another duck for the other one. But you should just be able to do a quick little duck for that first one and then get into the door. Drop a save state here. So you need to hit the Hawkmouth door 3 times to get in. Safest way is just throw, jump over, throw, jump over, throw, and then head in. You can do a double hit. Basically what you want to do is throw the block at full speed from fairly close range and hit like the upper part of the door. With Mario's big jump, it's possible to throw it too high, and the first hit will happen once the block starts to fall. So you either need to do less than a full jump, or I like to do a duck jump into the throw, because that way you're throwing it from a lower spot. But you know, again, the alive is fastest. So that was less than a full jump there. And there's the duck jump strat, so whichever's going to work for you is just fine. So Wart operates on cycles. The veggies will fire out every 4.2 seconds, and the pattern is always the same the first time you get to Wart. If you take a death to Wart, the pattern just kind of keeps going without you there, and so it'll look different from the original pattern you get. And then Wart moves back and forth once you spawn him. And so what I try to do is get a good pattern where Wart is up front for the final hit, which makes it fastest, and that also puts him in a good spot for his low shots. So every fourth bubble pattern he shoots like that is a low one, and it can be tough to get around. So I'm going to mess around here with some save states to get the pattern. I talk about the timing of when to enter the fight in my any percent tutorial, but for now I'm just going to find a good pattern, and then yeah, let's cut to that. So the fastest way I've found to fight Wart is just make sure you get a good pattern. When Wart's all the way up front like that, you can be neutral on the D-pad to make the hit. Otherwise you're just making little small throws as to not hit the vegetable into the bubbles. There are a couple ways to do this fifth hit. I like to throw it over top. And for that last one, you can throw it before landing, but you know, however is going to be comfortable for you. Again, alive is fastest. There's also a jump buffer strat that you can do. So if you watch Wart, when Wart closes his mouth, you can do 4 small jumps and then a jump and throw. The timing is that if you're able to then get another vegetable, that timing also works after Wart stops blinking from taking a hit. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I was a little late there. With Wart all the way up front like that, I tried to do a little hesitation just because it doesn't take the vegetable as long to get there. But that wasn't really necessary, apparently. It's a bit of an art form to time it. I think it's easiest just to go for hits as the veggies are coming out. But that's something you'll just have to mess around with for yourself. I'm really bad at these jump buffer strats. Some people are very good at them. I'm not one of those people. But yeah, that's 7-2 with Mario. And the whole game.